have all types, and even Jane Austen, you know, as a British writer, still had the same kind of personality types. So to go back to the way the image is, you know, the way that she was critiqued for her image of black people, and they said that, you know, they are trying to advance the race, so why are you trying to stereotype these characters just the way that white people want to see them? I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically their argument. And but what's curious about that is, well, wait a minute, these characters are really no different from Jane Austen's characters in you know, a different little British town, because they do the same thing. There's some that are going to be really good people, and there's some that's going to just use people, and some people are just going to gossip, and some people aren't going to say a word. It's just different types. There's only one kind of folks. That's what Harper Lee said. So they're assuming what they want to assume about her. They want to hear that she is, you know, broke and has been heartbroken because, you know, everybody, well, they may have not really literally warned her, but everybody was thinking it, right? So they want to see her broken. And part of it is because it's obvious that they are jealous of her. So it looks like something has happened to her, and because of that, they feel superior. So in this novel, one thing that's going to always come up is whoever has the voice is the authority. So when she meets the guy who's going to be the mayor, he says he wants to be a big voice because he's seen it done. He's worked with some white folks, and he sees it's very easy. It's all propaganda. And part of this, what you have to think about in the whole story, is that she's going to sit down with her friend Phoebe, and she's going to tell her story. And that gives her actually a sense of empowerment, because she gets to say what happened. And what she's trying to get at, the story, there's a quote that says, if you want to know the truth, read the story. There's a lot of true things that come out of it. And, you know, it's not a science. It's not like there's this formulaic thing I can give you. It just, there's little things about human nature that start to click in your mind, and you know these people, you know these situations, and if you look at your own problems the way that you look at literature, you can always kind of see that nothing is really hopeless. But, you know, figuring out that sometimes, you know, people are just the way they are, and you have to just kind of ignore them. When you get to that point, as Janie has come back full circle, she doesn't feel like she has to stop and talk to them and tell them what happened. She knows what they're after. They're after gossip. They are bored, and they want to know what's happened to her. You notice that people who are most critical of you and most interested in your life are probably the ones, you know, who don't actually have a life. And that's why they are the way they are. And so if someone does that to you, you just have to realize it for what it is and ignore it and move on. The thing about Janie is she is a wiser woman coming back, and she's sort of like, you know, what I would think of like Atticus in To Kill a Mockingbird, when the town was making fun of him or they're criticizing him. He's very relaxed about it, very calm, and says, well, they're entitled to it. With maturity, you don't really get caught up in drama. It doesn't, you're beyond it, you float above it, and that's where you want to get, that's where you want to be. Reading literature will help you get there. And she's being nice to her, and Janie's saying, you know, you act like I got something for you. I didn't bring you back anything, I just brought back myself. And that's really important because it's true. She has now brought back herself. in the beginning, she's been looking for herself. And as a little girl, she wants to see the world. She knows, in her words, she wants to like see the horizon. And her mother used to tell her kind of like jump at the sun or something like that. She was always thinking about her life in nature, and we'll get to that moment at the pear tree soon too. But all she knows is she's kind of got this transcendental outlook. You know, she looks at nature, and by that, nature is a reflection of herself. She sees herself through it. Makes her more curious about it. And she's curious about herself. And so, you know, this is a person who is really a thinker. And so she gives the story, and they talk, and so it point of view kind of shifts because it's Janie now giving most of it, but the narrator, the omniscient narrator interjects while she's kind of framing the story for you and giving you more insight than what Janie has in her limited point of view as she's going along. So I'll jump right to chapter 2 now. In the first sentence says, Janie saw her life like a great tree in leaf, with things suffered, things enjoyed, things done and undone. Dawn and doom was in the branches. There's a part where she said she wanted to struggle with life. And I think that's just her way of knowing that there's kind of like this possibility for a heroic journey. She's not asking for everything to be like fairy godmother, just let me have everything so I can be happy. She's smart enough to know that if she got everything she wanted, she wouldn't be happy. And she's going to find that out anyways. But to the struggle part of it, I want to live. I want to really live. And to do that, you have to take risks. And, you have to sometimes leave your home and take a little adventure. And this is a adventurous woman.